Hey fam, what's going on? Just doing my hair. I haven't done my hair in a while. Probably since August. I did have like this wig that I did, but this crochet wig, but I wasn't feeling it. So right now I'm just doing some box braids. I haven't had all my hair in a long time. Like a full head of hair. I usually just have this section right here, and all of this will be shaved off, in the back will be gone. But and this is why, like, it's taking me so long to finish this hair, to finish my head, because I have other things to do. But I don't. This is why I shave my head. It takes forever. I would have been finished if I just had this up here, but this is a part of my lock journey. I want a full head of locks. So I am going to. I hope I have another space. Yeah, I have. I want a full head of locks. So right now I'm just putting on some box braids just to hold me down for a while. Um. So what do I want to talk about? Lately, because I was last night while I was doing my hair, just had an epiphany of how, excuse me, of how a lot of people, um, let me down. A lot of people was not, here for me, and always talk in my head as if I'm already successful, as if I'm doing an interview with somebody and I'm telling them my story. So I was just talking in my head, talking to myself, and um, I thought of how when I do become successful and I reach um, the pinnacle of my life that I plan on reaching, um, that the people that I feel like should have been here for me, um, that if they do decide to start calling or showing their faces, or you know uh, wanting to know how my life is going, that I will not share that part with them. I will not share my success with them. And I don't know if that's, like, I don't want it to be like I'm holding on a grudge. I don't want it to be like I'm holding on a grudge, um, because I accept that this is a journey that I have to take alone. This is something that I have to, do by myself. But as a young sister, as the youngest, and having older sisters, I would just think that, and being that this is my first child, and what I'm going through, being homeless, I would think that, you know, despite how I feel towards them and what I may, or me blocking them on the phone. I mean, I blocked two of my sisters, but two of my other sisters do have um access where they can call me, so reach out. But as older sisters, I would think like, they're like, you know what? It don't even matter if she mad at me, if she not talking to me. I don't care how she feels. Let me just give her some word of advice, or let me just reach out and let her know like I'm here for you. Um, uh, I know you're not talking to me right now, but I'm still here. I know it's difficult for you right now in your situation. I'm still here. And I I didn't get that. And then I think to myself, and I kind of feel like, well, I did block them. I did, what's the name? So should I feel that they should be trying to reach out? Am I wrong for still wanting them to reach out, even though I'm not um talking to them, even though even though I blocked them? I mean, as a youngest, I just expect a little bit more from my sisters, a little bit more sympathy and empathy for me. Um, but I just accept it. Like I said, once I become successful and I'm doing interviews with people, like there's people that I be watching, and I just be like, oh, this is what I'm gonna say in my interview. I have interviews in my head. Because I have a story, Everyone has a story. My story is not as horrible as some others, but I do have a story. Everyone has a story, right? So I just want to, tell my story one day, and it's just going to be an unbelievable thing. And people are going to be inspired. But I do plan on writing a book. And that's, yeah, so with all that going on in my head and all that stuff that I was thinking about, like, I was like, that'd be a good book, right? Thank you for, not for people not being there for me. Like, that's what I want to, that's a message that I want to put out. Is that we have to thank the people that not being there for us. We have to thank the jobs that don't hire us. We have to thank the situations that we come across. Because if we don't take it as a lesson, we will keep repeating the same thing. If we, say we lose our job. I got this from early this morning. I was listening to, I know it was Jim Ron, and it was someone else I was listening to. But he's like, what do you do when, you lose your job? You go find another job. But for me, I just lost my train of thought. All right, but what I was trying to say, is that if it wasn't for the jobs not hiring me, if it wasn't for people not really believing in me, if it wasn't for me becoming homeless and me having to go through this again, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have reached my success, or I wouldn't have came up with the idea about thanking people for where I am, even though I'm not in the best position in life. Dang, that's a lot. Hold up, wait a minute, that was a lot. Darn it. Whatever. So I didn't want to take all that out. If it wasn't for people not believing in me and, just leaving me alone, I wouldn't be successful. And I'm just speaking that into existence. Because for a long time now, since I can remember, like, I had an an imagination. I remember when I used to get these Walt Disney, what is it, Disney World? It's probably like a Disney World, yeah, Disney World tapes, right? I used to get them delivered to the house, and I would imagine that I was on these roller coasters. I would get pillows, stack them up. It'll be me and my niece, and I would stack them up, and I would just start vibrating. Start vibrating the pillows and moving around like whoo, like as if I'm on the roller coaster ride. And I'll have blankets and put over our face. Just have an imagination. I remember when I used to come back from seeing my brother and sister, and it was like these bushes, right? And we used to play in the bushes. Oops. I used to play in the bushes, play around, act like I was in the jungle. Like I just was in imagination. And I used to tell these stories. I had a good story, but I used to tell these stories to my cousin and my niece. And it was one story that they were just stuck on. Like, they, remember that story you told us? And I'm like, I do not remember. I kind of remember it, but I really didn't remember. But like I said, I always had a thing about me. I had a creative side to me. Always had a creative side to me. And I'm like, I was doing that since I was young. Like I even made up these friends and telling my other old friend about these people that didn't exist. I mean, even though I had friends from where I used to live, I used to tell her about these stories where I used to live on my old block because she had these good stories too. So I was like, I want to tell a story. So I used to tell these stories um, to her, and I don't know if she knew I was lying or not, but she never asked like, "Oh, you wanna go over there and see them, or you wanna let's go over there and see them. I want to meet these people." She never asked, but always had a story to tell. And now I just want to write that story in a book. Like I really want to write my life in a book. And then after I do that, I can just see myself just going on tour, just promoting this book. And people asking me these questions, and me telling these people of how this book came about, right? Because it's gonna touch people. It's gonna and inspire people. That's how I see my book. That's how I see it. It's gonna inspire people, and people are gonna talk about it, and people are going to be able to relate to that book. Hold up, and I always a journal. My first, I used to write poetry. I love poetry. My first poem was One Day. And I don't know. I think I still have the poem. That was my first poem, and that poem was written in 2003. It's almost like 20 years ago. Almost like, yeah, 20 years ago. My first poem I ever written. And then I started journaling. I love journaling. I love writing my thoughts down. I love, putting my thoughts on paper. I've been journaling since I don't know, probably like 2006, 7. I've been journaling. And my favorite subject in school was writing. That was my favorite subject. And granted, I didn't read a lot. I didn't read a lot. But I love the words. I love the words. I love that you can express yourself through words. And words just, I don't know, it's just something about words that I liked. And I knew that the stronger your vocabulary, the smarter you sound. Now my vocabulary is still needs some work. But it was just something about it. And now I'm looking back and I'm just like, wow. Like everything happens for a reason. Like, when you really just tap into yourself and you just go back to what you did in the past from when you was young and to now, like it makes sense. Like I still have dreams of doing other things. Like I definitely wanted to get into real estate. Well, I'm definitely going to get into real estate. I'm going to, there's other things that I want to do. But my focus is going to be writing my book. I hope I didn't. What's the name? I'm going to write a book about my life. And at some point I was thinking like, ugh, I thought about it before, like a while back. But I didn't think my life was interesting. I was like, wait, what? I mean, like, there's nothing going on in my life not interesting enough. So I put that on my back burner. But now I feel like it's definitely interesting enough to write a story. I gotta upload it on Amazon, KDP, like however I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start writing me a book. I still want to do a children's book. I still have plans of doing that. Especially now that I read a lot to Kaden, my daughter. Especially that I read a lot to her. It inspired me to write books. Write a children's book too. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, once again, just, you know, just think the situation that you're in. Be thankful. You never know what's gonna come out of it. And for me, I never looked at my situation so horrible. Like, always thought that, well, I always expect a good outcome when like everything is falling apart. That's the thing about me. Like, it could be falling apart for months, day after day. It could still falling apart. But if you're not relentless, and if you give up, of course you won't see the end result. But if you see an ending to it, if you can really just envision yourself somewhere else, you can get there. I'm gonna get there. It may take some time, but I will get there. So being that I don't have no way of no way of editing this video, I'm gonna have to cut this short and then like do a quick short on the hairstyle after I'm finished. So don't forget, hold up, wait a minute, because I've been forgetting to say this at the end. Don't forget to like, comment, like I said, comment, and subscribe. This is Random by Rand. Oh my god. I was just say, this is Random by Random. This is Random by Rhonda. And yeah, I'm out.